Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So our next topic for this um, particular subject is topic number 5. It's about output, input and user interface design. So basically in this topic we'll touch more detail on user interface and look into some guideline that you need to follow when you want to create your user interface design for your project or your system. Okay, let's jump into this particular topic. So basically the objective of this topic is to understand the objective for produce the effective input, output, and users interface design. And then design functional input form for different users of a business system and how to relate output content to output method inside and outside the organization. And finally, we'll look into how to design a useful input form and display output for people to interact. For example, through the web, through the mobile, through the kiosk, and so on. Let's brush through to the major topic for this chapter. So, in this topic, the major topic you need to understand is how to design the output, input, and user interface design. But before you start design the output, so you need to understand the certain output that you want to produce. After that, you start looking into some design guideline or design principle that you need to apply in your design. I think this user interface design guideline actually you already learn in class human computer interaction. So this topic actually is like it's same what you have learned in HCI class. Okay. As introduction, so output and user interface design actually is the first task in the system development phase. If you would under the system development life cycle methodologies, so whereby the output design actually focus on the user needs uh, for screen, even on a printed form of the output. And then user interface design actually stress on how user interact with the computer or the system. So it's including the input design and the procedure. And then one of the major topic we need to focus on in this topic is about output design. So it's relate to what is the output classifications, and then what reports that you want to produce, and then how your output screen design to be look. Before we start designing any output, so there are a few questions we need to ask. The question is, what is the purpose of the output? So what are you trying to get? And then you look into who wants the information, why it is needed, and how will it be used. and then you look into what specific information will be included, what kind of the information you want to you want to show, and then last, will the output will be printed or will be viewed on the screen, or maybe in a both. Okay, and then what type of the device will the output go through? For example, you goes to maybe web pages, okay, CD, and they have a lot of actually they have a lot of device where the output go to. So the quality of input of the system input will determine the quality of the system output. And then the output also can be in many form. Actually, they have the output can be in a hard copy, for example, a printed report, and in a soft copy, for example, through the computer screen, microfilm, through the audio, CD, email, or web pages. Okay, so to create the output, the analysis need to work interactively with the user until the output is satisfied. So output actually is essential to ensure the use and acceptance of the information system. So there are 6 objectives you need to follow or you need to achieve when you designing the output. The first objective is designing the output to serve the intended purpose. So it means your output must be functional. So if the output is not functional, so it should not be created. Second objective, design output to fit to the user. Means you design the meaningful output to the user. The design output can address what the user needs. So the design output must be address what the user need and what the user prefer. The third objective, delivering the appropriate quality of output. It means the system must provide what each person needs to complete his or her task. The objective number 4, making sure the output is where it is needed, means to be used and useful, the output must be presented to the right user. Number 5, providing the output on time, means accurate timing of output can be critical to business operations. And then lastly, choose the right output method. There are 2 types of output technologies that you can use to produce your output. So you can produce your output through media, or you can produce your output through device. For example, through media, you can produce your output through paper, display screen, microfilm, audio, video, and then electronic output. So electronic output, for example, include the email, fax, bulletin board message, and then blog, web page, and instant messaging is also considered the output media through electronic. And then you also can produce your output through devices. For example, you can simply print your output through the printer. Okay, you can use a CD-ROM or DVD, floater, and speaker. And you need to remember um, different output actually unique. Different output actually required use the different technology, and then the outputs technology actually also different in uh, in in terms of their speed, cost, portability, flexibility, storage, and retrieval possibility. This is the example of comparison of the output technology methods. Okay, so you have a printer, you have a display screen, audio output, mobile device, and then electronic output. And then this is the advantage and disadvantages. So you can refer this table through the in our ebook Kindle. Okay, in page 296 for the further reading. Output can be classification into three types: internal output, external output, and turnaround document. Internal output used within the corporation or business, and then it includes various report to decision maker. The range start from short summary report to detailed report. So example of internal output we can consider as a summary report, detailed report, historical report, and exception report. And then for internal output, all type of report actually for manager the organization. External output refer to the output that used outside the organization or outside the business organization, and then it refer to communications that organization have with their customer, maybe with their customer, via vendors, supplier, industry, and competitor. So external output we consider the output going outside the organization. The example of external output can be paycheck, annual report, utility bill, and advertisement. And then the last output classification is a turnaround documentation. A turnaround documentation actually a document that is sent out and then returned back to the organization. Some external output is designed to serve WT as a turnaround documentation. For example, utility bills, warranty card, and so on. Let's take the example for utility bills. The utility bill is, for example, TMB bill utilities lah. Okay, so utility bill is a turnaround document, maybe for a TMB company for data processing. So the output for one stage of processing become the output for the next. So for example, TMB printed the utility bill and sent to us. Then we pay the bill by scanning the barcode, or if you pay through the online, so you just enter the billing utility bill code. So this is considered the input for the next processing to TMB company. So utility bill we consider as the turnaround document. So means the next input for the next process to TMB company. So maybe after we pay the bill, TMB will update our account. So this update is considered the net process. TMB need to continue. Printed output report, actually the report that you design based on conventional, means based on what you see is what you get. So of course the printed output report is different in terms of the paper quality, type and size. Actually, organization strive to reduce the flow of the paper and the printed report, but some users find it's hard to view screen output. Then the organization need to print the information that they need. So the printed output is used in turnaround documentation. So printed reports must be attractive and easy to read and well organized. To produce a well organized report, so we need to consider the design features that you need to include in your printed report. So the features that you need to consider, for example, the heading or the title of the report, the page number, the page header and footer, the date of the preparation, the column heading, column alignment, and column spacing, the grouping of the related data item. So the related data you need to group in one group. Okay, and then the use of the control break. You need to include the report header and footer and field order. So if the printed output is not good organized, so it becomes difficult to read. So the well organized printed report, so the report should read from top to bottom and left to right. So this is the example of good report design that apply all the features you need to consider in design a good printer report. And then there are three types of printer output reports. So they are which is a detailed reports, exception report, and summary report. So detailed report actually print a report line for every record on the master file. So it can be quite lengthy. And the exception report actually you print a line of all record that match to a certain condition. So it's useful when the user want a specific information you want to produce. Summary report actually you print one line of a group of a record that are used to make a decision. So this report actually provide a comprehensive data. So this is the example report for a detailed report. Okay, so it shows the weekly employee hours ending date by 24th of June. Okay, so the example, the another example of a detailed report actually, the report you can summarize the monthly total sale. Okay, or for example, I want to show all the students in section 9 in my class. So that is the example of the detailed report. So this is the another printed report, which is the exemption report. So actually, it's useful when the user wants information only on a record or based on a certain condition. So this is the example report for overtime employee. The another example for exemption report, maybe you can listing all the employee with no absent for the year, or maybe you can listing all the sale people who did not meet the monthly sale quota, or a report on a customer complaint met in the past 6 months. So this is the summary, the example of the summary report. Summary report employee hours, or maybe you want to create a summary report for monthly sale based on the total. So this is the example of the summary report. So to produce the output to the screen design, so you need to follow a screen design guideline. So for the example, so you need to make sure your design keep the screen is simple. So make sure your screen is not too crowded, and then so you make sure you use the right metaphor. Okay, and then the second guideline principle for output screen design: keep the screen presentation consistency. So consistency in terms of the color, in terms of the fonts, font family, font size, okay, in terms of the design of the button. So for example, you design the button like all circle, all rectangle. So it must be consistency. And then facilitate user movement among the screen. And then you also can create an attractive screen by using the what we call it, the animation. For example, when you mouse over to the button, so the buttons change to the red color. So that is one way how you create the screen attractive. So this is the example how you produce the output design from the DFD. So for example, take a look for process number 6, procedure to produce the letter for, I think, for the student, not the customer, because the process involves actually produce a list of students. So suppose produce a letter to customer. Okay, to produce a list of a student, okay, you need to retrieve the record from the student master file, and then you process in the process number 6, produce a list of the student, and then this report will be produced or will be sent to the Dean Deputy through the report printed that contain the list of the student that registered, maybe for the subject or registered for that semester. So this is the example of the report you can produce from the DFD based on process number 6. Okay, so I think that's all for topic output design. So we'll look next into the input design. So thank you.